more than this up a little bit. Lifestyle. Why?
Because you're hype mogging me.
How am I hype mogging you if you can't even? Well, now everyone knows that I'm hype mogging you now. Congrats. You played yourself. Welcome to episode 14 of the Black Truth Podcast. We're up with a new episode today. Very important episode, very special episode.
We're upping
our production for a third time. We're doing a double upload. We're doing a double whammy. We're making America great again. Just don't I guess you can pull back, but that's gonna happen if you pull back.
This is so much better. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. How's everybody doing?
This episode is sponsored by United Saudi Emirates.
This episode is also brought to you by Audio Technica.
Or at least for me, not for you.
Oh yeah. Well, you're right. I gave this
not for you.
Headphones for the production of the video. Here's your energy drink, bro. You need this.
Don't tell them what energy drink it is. You know, we got to keep that like on lock. You know,
type shit.
We can't unless we get like a little sponsorship. We could be like George Janko. We just have it in the background.
And then we get.
I mean that one happens after the other, so it kind of shows you like who controls all the things. You know, who controls all these things.
Okay. So today's topic at hand is. Do you want to get straight into it, or do you want to keep ad-libbing?
Well, I don't know. How you been doing? How's your day?
Pretty good.
Sorry, we need to make sure because we need to have those little indications so that they don't think that we're like AI.
No, we're not AI.
Because if we don't have proof that we're people, then how do we? This is just not just a stimulation, not
how do
simulation.
How do we know?
I said this is a stimulation.
This is a stimulation.
All right. Anyways, today's topic, today's Black Truth, is something I thought of, and it's that our culture, our culture. So both people, they know about Disney adults. You know, those are the guys. So you know who Disney adults? They're those people who. They're mainly just people who go to Disney World or they go to all the Disney theme parks, and they happen to know all the characters and everything. Those are typically where Disney adults are known as. But then I came onto this epiphany that almost everyone is kind of a Disney adult because of how all encompassing Disney has become. Because so at first, back in the day, what was it? Disney was just
they just made the Pixar films. They made the princess movies. If you grew up with sisters, you fucking watched every single princess movie. What else were they? Then they had family movies Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. What's the other one? The one with the guy that killed himself, Robin Williams. Mr. Flab, something like that.
Oh, Mr. Flubber?
Yeah, that's a Disney movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, basically, back in the day, Disney made movies for for family or for girls.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah, but it was they knew that their genre was only family-friendly entertainment, and so it was just that, and so that's why Disney adults are kind of synonymous with man-children. But again, now we're talking about when we were growing up. Disney was so it felt like it was just for kids, and it was just an evergreen brand. You know, it was Mickey Mouse, all the cartoons and everything. But now, because Disney has become a monopoly or whatever you want to call it, anyone who is in likes anything, they're technically a Disney adult. Over the past years, they bought Marvel,
Star Wars.
They bought Star Wars. They bought they somehow bought National Geographic.
Oh, I forgot they bought Nat Geo.
Or their company, their parent company somehow bought it or something. But anyways, what I'm saying is that somehow everyone is kind of a Disney adult on some level, even though you really don't want to be. So there's kind of been a new genre of dude I know people like making up people like dudes in their heads, especially women. They like making up dudes that don't exist. But there's a dude that exists in our modern society, and I'm calling it right here. I'm gonna call them. Actually, I'm gonna call them the two things. I'm gonna call them. It's funny because they're both DC references, and they're not like DC isn't part of Disney, at least not for now. But it's either I'm gonna call it reverse Disney adults, or I'm gonna call them Bizarro Disney adults. I don't know.
Bizarro, what's the significance of Bizarro?
You don't know.
And I know Bizarro's a DC character. It's
Superman
villain, right?
Yeah, but Bizarro is basically like the the like retarded opposite of Superman.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So reverse and Bizarro is kind of like the same like idea where like Bizarro is literally like they do exactly the opposite of what like a Superman character would do. But yeah, I think I'm going with reverse
Yeah, I
Disney
like reverse
adult
Disney adults. I think it pulls in a crowd a lot better.
because where I think this genre of guys started, I think it started in 2017.
Sorry, you mean 2018? That's when The Last Jedi came out.
It came out 18.
Yeah.
Look that up.
No.
Look that up, Jamie.
You're right.
Look that up, Jamie. Look that up, Jamie. I'm pretty sure it came because 15. You wouldn't know because I know that there's a 2-year gap. You didn't know because you didn't see The Force Awakens.
Yeah, so I was known as a Star Wars kid when we were younger, and 2017. You were right. Son of a bitch. You got me.
But I would say the beginning of this, like hatred for Disney, because like when Force Awakens came out, Star Wars: The Force Awakens Episode 7 came out. Disney was still seen as being like a good babysitter. Like if they owned the rights to, because like Pixar wasn't originally owned by Disney. They were inherited by didn't George Lucas create Pixar? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he created. No, I think was it him or Steve Jobs?
It was Steve Jobs.
I
I'm sorry.
No. He gave it to Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs sold it over to Apple.
Oh, okay, I get it. So Pixar is even Pixar is not like an original Disney creation. For the past like I don't know how many years, even before, because obviously we thought when we were kids we thought Pixar was just Disney.
Yeah.
But obviously when like the first Toy Story came out, it was just Pixar.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Wasn't Toy Story like just Toy Story? There wasn't no Disney.
Yeah, it was just Pixar. And we didn't know that there was like a whole different because I think at the time it was if it's a Pixar movie it's gonna be 3D, but then if it's a Disney movie it's still gonna be 2D. But then at one point in time they just like meshed it all together, and now all the Disney movies are Pixar movies and all of them are 3D and all that stuff.
Yeah, they've been. Yeah, it's because like when we were kids, I had no idea that Marvel, or rather Disney, owned fucking Marvel. Because I felt in the beginning of the Marvel acquisition, they were really like separate from each other.
I only really noticed it once. Not even like maybe like Iron Man 3. I noticed it.
Yeah, because I think I noticed probably like after like the third. I'm sorry, after the Avengers movie, because it all just started looking the same. All the movies looked the same after that because the first wave, they call them waves, right?
Yeah.
The first wave of Marvel movies, which was Iron Man 2, Hulk, Captain America, and then Thor, they were all shot on film cameras.
Yeah.
And then they started shooting them on.
And they're produced by like different companies. I think like Hulk, Incredible Hulk was like Paramount. Iron Man I think was Paramount. I think it was Paramount at first, and then because I think did Iron Man 1 come out when Disney owned Marvel? Or no, like
it was just Marvel Studios, right?
Yeah, it was just Marvel Studios at the time, and then eventually I think it was 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think no, not even fuck that. I think after 2010 is when you started noticing like all the movies started to look the same. Like it slowly but gradually started happening because they started using that gray muddy fucking digital camera that they've literally been using for the past over 10 years.
It's called
There's a name. I know there's a name for it.
No, people like calling it like Grail Vision or something like that.
Vision, yeah, it's literally what it fucking looks like. I mean, Iron Man 1 looks better than fucking Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 looks better than No Way Home.
True. If you look at like any of them, it's funny because you would think that that when you see them in theaters, you can't really notice how bad they look. But then once you see like someone post a clip on YouTube, you're like, what the heck did I like it? Because I think it's funny because it should kind of be the opposite way. Like if you see it on like a big ass screen, it should look horrible to you. But I think since everything's happening so fast, like I remember I saw the Black Panther 2, and I could just tell everything in that was like just like green screen everything. And it's funny because well, you know who kind of created that problem?
Our guy.
Yeah, George Lucas kind of like he kind not just even like doing the green screen and everything. He was the first one to like start like moving away from film. Cause I remember when they were doing the prequels, I saw this behind the scenes thing, and there were all these like scholars. They were talking about like film, like how film is like authentic and everything. And then like George Lucas just goes like, "Well, I'm not gonna do that. I don't think it's a good idea for these movies, so I'm just gonna move away from doing that. And in the future, we're gonna be recording digitally anyway, so that's how the future's gonna go. So
Hey,
I'm gonna
no,
do
he
those."
was right though. He was right. It's just unfortunately.
Well, the problem is that they started doing it sloppy. They started like all like the special effects and everything. They started like just hiring like
Indians.
they started like the
Oh my
one
God, Captain America looks so great.
like the one scene from Infinity War just looks like so bad, but everyone was sewing over it when
Oh
it
my
happened.
God, yeah, right. Infinity War looked like shit.
Like that whole scene where like they got like 100 characters and shit just looks like
Or doing an Endgame.
Endgame, yeah, Endgame. That one when like all like when they're all fighting, it's like 100 fucking heroes and shit. Like everyone's sewing over it, but then it's like, bro, like you look at it, it literally looks like a mess.
Literally, it just looks like you ever seen like you remember being a kid and watching YouTube and you look for people to make like stories with their toys
Yeah,
and their shitty little like digital
Yeah.
camera. That's what it looked like.
and it's funny because there's like there's other examples of that happening in different like things where like a bunch of heroes come together and it looks cooler, but that one just literally looked like slop.
Literally,
But then going back on my contingency, so I would say this genre, this reverse Disney adult, started with The Last Jedi when that movie came out, because it became apparent that Disney was the problem with Star Wars, or with the modern interpretation of Star Wars. Even when Rogue One came out, like people weren't really hating on that, but I think from back to back seeing Rogue One like kind of being like morally like bankrupt for some people, and just like relying way too much on like the nostalgia and everything, and seeing how like the Last Jedi is like, what was there not to say about Last Jedi? I know there's always people, they try to like take like a roundabout look at it, and the movie was actually a deconstruction on how your expectations were. No, it sucked, and it built up to nothing. Nothing really happened in the movie. Yada yada yada. We all know what's wrong.
Episode 9 without even watching episode 8. The only thing you need to know is
that Kylo Ren puts back his helmet on. That's all you need to know. It literally like, I can't even blame like Rian Johnson for what happened.
I don't even think the movie, in retrospect, I don't think it was as bad as we made it out to be.
I think it was it was interesting, but it wasn't like it literally didn't deserve like a whole movie. If anything, it should have been like
a Star Wars story.
It should have been like literally like a novel. Like a novel that took place in between.
I think if they had done like a Star Wars story, like kind of like Rogue One or Solo, I think it would have been better had they done that, like a deconstruction of the Star Wars universe.
I think it should have been literally just an episode, or no, it shouldn't have been an episode. That the story that they made for that shouldn't have been an episode. But at the same time, like just like the way how everything happened in that movie, just it's like I know kind of like. But I'm just kind of recollecting because we saw it like recently, probably like a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, because we were rewatching all the movies.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it was just like a nothing movie. I did kind of think it's funny because I did think about it positively when I first saw it. Like, did I tell you that I was like literally crying when like spoilers for like a fucking almost like 10-year-old movie, but Luke dies.
You cried for that?
Yeah, but I was mainly crying because like the John Williams score and everything.
You got manipulated by the music.
Yeah, and then like when I got out of the movie, I was like fuck, and then okay, so half of it was when I got out of the movie, because when I heard people were talking shit about it, I was so kind of like, oh well, like I was kind of being more positive about it, because I do think that it worked because it took a risk. Because from what I was conditioned into believing is that this movie had to be the one that was different from all the other movies. So if it was different from the other movies, then it worked in my books. But then I thought about it more, and then I saw some YouTube videos. Not gonna lie, I was kind of psyoped by some like anti SJW YouTube videos. I was psyoped by them into like changing my opinions.
Hurrah!
But then also I realized like it wasn't actually like an original movie. They did basically do like Empire again.
Oh,
but
Empire
then,
Strikes Back.
yeah, like didn't they had like the same like all like the snow scenes and
Well,
everything.
they did the same shit with fucking the episode 7. Episode 7 was basically just episodes 4, 5, and 6.
But at the time, it was considered good because, oh, look again, I was brainwashed by this too because I didn't watch the prequels, but when I saw
Wait,
episode,
at that point you didn't see the prequel?
no, I didn't.
Bro, this is the first
So
time.
I was
this is the
psyoped.
first time finding that out.
I was psyoped by all the things because people were saying, oh, well, this movie is good because they're trying to regain our favor again by showing they can make a proper Star Wars movie. So what I was told is that this movie was supposed to be like an apology for the prequels. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this was a good movie. Honestly, it's funny because when I saw them, with my family, my mom had like a base take. She was like, "Oh yeah, all the lightsaber fights suck," and I was like, "No,
Yeah,
no."
You kept on trying to defend it when we rewatched it recently.
What?
Fucking lightsaber fights. I was like, bro, they fucking suck. You're like, bro, they're good, bro. What are you?
Didn't know. I did not say that.
On a stack of Bibles.
You're defending a lot more stuff from our sequel rewatch.
What was I defending?
You're defending like Finn.
Yeah, because I liked Finn. Finn was a good character. They just did him poorly.
You're defending.
Poe Dameron fucking sucked. Kylo Ren was good. Right?
Shout out Adam Driver.
Shout out to Adam Driver.
Hey, babe, remember what I told you about that? Basically, Sam Hyde is Kylo Ren, if you really think about it. Only real niggas will get that. So yeah, so The Last Jedi was like the first movie to get people like anti-Disney because, well, at least Star Wars fans started becoming more anti-Disney, and it felt like the cat came out of the bag with the whole like narrative. Okay, so it wasn't even so I think the whole story, it could have been kind of excusable, but then also all like the pink haired lady, what's her name?
I know what you're talking about.
Like Leia floating up and everything.
There's this movie, real quick, I want to off track. I remember there's this movie that she was in called The Master. It's with Joaquin Phoenix and this other guy. You know the movie that I'm talking about?
Yeah, you told me before.
She comes out butt ass fucking naked in the movie. I thought it was funny.
But what was the other? Oh, when Rose Tico crashed into Finn and she's like, "This is how we win." The whole casino thing, because yeah, it's all just coming back to me. But anyway, so
do you remember, real quick? I want to off track one more time. Do you remember fucking Finn and Poe were supposed to be gay?
What?
Yeah. Yes. This is a real.
How good is that dick?
Oh my God.
How good is that dick, bitch?
That was like a serious take. They just never put it in the movie.
Oh, it's like how they
Okay, the sound wasn't, but they really were gonna make him gay for a minute. Cause I used to follow Mike Zero. You remember Mike Zero?
No.
He was like a conspiracy theorist, but for Star Wars.
Oh.
He was like, Kathleen Kennedy has 6 more months in Lucasfilm before they fire her. And then, well, obviously she's still there. She's still won't let go.
Yeah, I saw that. She's gonna stay there until like she dies, basically.
Probably.
I mean, you know the theory. I think I told you the theory of how they gave her the role.
Yeah, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were probably clapping cheeks.
And then she had like a photo of like when it happened back in the day, and was like, "Yeah, you need to make me the president."
Yeah, because it's only out of spite. Like, nigga, you already made your movie.
Well, are you talking about Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah.
Which movie?
Well, she didn't make any movies, but she was there for all the movies being made.
Well, I think she just wants to have like a comfy like position, but I think her problem was she should have literally just gave her like her actual job to like someone actually like I don't know like Jon Favreau or something like
Does
that.
Does she have kids or no?
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, because if she didn't have kids, I'm like, that makes sense.
But you know the I was watching this one the video. I think I sent it to you yesterday. It's this guy Rick Woolley. He did he's been doing like a whole Star Wars like video essay thing. They're all like in total the whole thing now is probably like 9 hours long. But the recent part, the third part, he was going over what the George Lucas's original sequel trilogy was going to be, because I kept on hearing like things about the trilogy, about what it could have been and everything.
Yeah.
And at first I thought that his sequel trilogy was fake, because I saw this one video where this guy said, "Oh yeah, the sequel trilogy, it was a thing, but he made the ideas for the sequel trilogy to sell them to Disney eventually, but he was never actually going to make them himself." But then I watched this video, this guy that what's his name, Rick Rowley did, and he explains that no, like George Lucas has said for like since like Star Wars came out that he wanted to do 3 trilogies. But at first he said he wanted to do 4 movies, so everyone was convinced that he wanted to do like 4 trilogies, and but obviously like the problem was that after he started doing like the other movies, he realized like, okay, I can't tell my whole story, at least in movie form, the way I want it to be. But like, he had like an outline. This is George Lucas, by the way. He had an outline in his notebook, and what it was gonna be, the prequels, 3 movies, the original trilogy, 3 movies, and then the sequel trilogy. But in between there's gonna be the first movie was gonna be just like a prequel, like not like a prequel, but like it was gonna be like the beginning. So it was gonna explain like the Jedi and everything, how they were created, and then after that,
I saw part of that video too.
after the beginning movie, it was gonna be the prequels, which were called the Clone Wars at the time. So I think at the time he just wanted all 3 of the movies to be the Clone Wars. Obviously, none of the prequel movies actually did the Clone Wars, which is funny. And then
they kind of did.
Well, the Attack of the Clones literally shows the beginning, and then Revenge shows like the end of the Clone Wars. So
yeah, well, I think people missed the point that George Lucas was trying to, the story that he was trying to tell, which is just the story of Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, that's why he changed it from first being the Clone Wars to being tailored more to Anakin, and then I think that after Episode 3, he was gonna make a movie about the Wookiees, and then that, but then that ended up being turned into the Star Wars Holiday Special, or like the vague idea of it. But the Wookiee movie was gonna be like bridge like 3 and 4. I don't think any of these movies were gonna come out like, or obviously they weren't gonna come out in order, but it was gonna play out like that. So then the Wookiee movie leads into the original trilogy. The original trilogy goes, and then I forgot what was there another Gap movie? No. So I think after that it goes into the sequels, but at the time he like had no idea what the sequels were gonna be about, like at all. Like he had like no like, or at least when he first created, he just knew that
It was gonna be about the New Republic.
Yeah, he just knew that at the time, that at the end there was gonna be a New Republic. So the idea of there being like a whole like they were just gonna rebuild right away wasn't gonna happen. But at the end he said that so after the sequel trilogy there was gonna be one last movie, and that last movie was just gonna be about the droids. So what I assume would have happened is that he was gonna go all the way at the end of the Star Wars timeline, and it was gonna be just the droids being alive. Because I think, not I think, but I know all the Star Wars. This is how you know that the sequels are fake. George Lucas said Star Wars is all told by R2D2. R2D2 is supposed to be the one like documenting everything. That's why he's around. That's why even C-3PO's around in all of them. They're supposed to be like the people documenting the whole fucking war, the whole story. So it was gonna build up to eventually this last movie being like who he tells the story to, or I think he was gonna tell him to like what, like the Wills or something like that, and it's interesting because they said that sequel trilogy was gonna be like really fucking esoteric,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It sounds like it was about to go into some
It was
crazy
gonna,
esoteric
yeah. It was gonna.
shit.
He was gonna talk about like it was gonna be the things that people hate, like the midichlorians and shit.
Yeah.
But it was
I
gonna
don't
be.
understand why people hate the fucking midichlorians.
I don't know. It's like it's dumb because I think the problem is that people don't like science like terminology or type terminology being used in something that's like a fantasy series, but they don't understand that like
It's just space fantasy.
but they don't understand that that science can prove like things that
They're already atheists and they don't believe in a higher power. So like, you know what I mean? So they need something that they can like. They need something that's shrouded in mysticism for them to like enjoy it because they don't have that in their own life.
well, I heard it's like the opposite way. It's like they consider like George Lucas adding the midichlorians and when they did Indy 5 or Indy 4 when they had the alien and shit, they consider that being like them trying to be more science and less like religion based, because like the force and shit that feels more like a spiritual, and like in Indiana Jones, oh shit, did you hear about the Ark of the Covenant thing?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Well, we have to hold off on that for a minute. But
Okay.
we were talking about Disney adults, and now we're talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, so because we're fucking Disney adults right now,
Yeah, literally. Oh my god, it's almost like
because we're forced to be Disney adults. Anyway, going back.
because we have no choice because fucking Star Wars and Marvel, those are cultural fucking zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It's embedded in the American mind, so we have no choice but to be Disney adults. Even like with the Snow White movie,
Yeah.
with that Mexican bitch, whatever the fuck her name is.
Wait, but so what I was gonna get into is the reason why The Last Jedi had like such a visceral, emotional feeling towards like the American public is because like
Yeah, we could get back on Star Wars, but let's
Like-
finish the Disney shit first.
oh no, I'm getting to it.
Okay.
I'm going back to The Last
It's like
Jedi.
poetry,
I was
rhymes.
I was going all the way onto like George Lucas's sequels or everything, but I'm going back to like the main thing. So
I want to get back on that. But
so
first,
the
let's
main
finish Disney shit.
the main like analogy is that when The Last Jedi came out and people felt like so like threatened because it's the closest like Star Wars is the closest thing that like most Americans have to like a religion.
No, literally, that's why I brought up the point that I did earlier about they don't believe in anything, so they need something that they can shroud it in religion because sci-fi movies are very religious.
But also it's like cuz it's like
Dune is based on Islam.
it's one thing that like most Americans have like a connection to. They have a connection to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So when they saw this thing, like when they saw Luke, Jake Skywalker drinking like purple milk or whatever,
Blue milk.
they're like what the fuck is this? But it's funny because I remember there was when people were starting to hate on The Last Jedi, there was a bunch of articles coming out saying that like
Far right.
yeah, like these people are trying to radicalize like regular like Star Wars fans into becoming alt-right. But I was thinking about at first I thought it was funny that they were trying to say that, but then I thought about like no, it's true but not them. You guys are radicalizing people into becoming alt-right because they're seeing what you guys do to like basically their religion. Like they saw like imagine how many people became like far right people
Imagine how many people became Catholic because of that.
because of The Last Jedi. Imagine how many people were like you know what?
No, that is some real shit though. Like jokes aside, I think I think Disney is kind of like partially like responsible for the youth becoming more like far right, I guess, because it's like that's all we had. The economy's been shit ever since Obama, right? And then it's like you're
The only thing that we had during Obama, we had the Clone Wars.
the Clone Wars, yeah, the Clone Wars were pretty good. Well, towards like the middle seasons, but still.
But people were brainwashed by good entertainment, so they didn't have to care about like what was going on. But then once they came for the entertainment, they were like, "Hey,
What the fuck is this?
Like, who are these people?
Who's this Asian bitch?
Who did 9/11?
They're
Who's
like-
dancing on the towers?
Who's dancing on the towers? They're like what? They
No,
made-
first they just watched like a video saying The Last Jedi sucks. They click like two things and they're like, who's
did
dancing?
9/11?
And it's funny because they used to people used to say like, oh, there's like a alt-right pipeline going, and I used to laugh at it too. But I'm like, no, it was real. Like
it's real. Yeah, it's real.
we got into it before that, or mainly me,
Well,
because
you
you're
did, yeah.
you're still kind of like libtarded at the
Yeah.
time, but
Well, I was more like a classical liberal during
but I
that time.
think
I was like, it's okay if they have minorities in this movie as long as it's written well.
this Last Jedi movie was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and then moving forward to that, it just kept on becoming, fuck Disney. We know Disney's doing all this. We know Disney trying to sign up people to doing that.
What happened a year later with Marvel? Captain Marvel came out, and
Oh, yeah.
that's when I think Black Panther.
No, and also Solo came out, and Solo was
yeah,
like,
that movie was shit too. I forgot.
and Solo was kind of like the litmus test to see if the audience was still there after the Last Jedi, and I think it didn't do well, but it was mainly because it wasn't a main installment, so that's why it didn't do well. Because people did come back for the last one, but for Rise of the Skywalker, but it was more treated like people were being psyoped into believing like, oh, J.J. Abrams is gonna fix it. Only did we realize later that he was the one who created the problems. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like the sequel trilogy between J.J. Abrams and Bob Iger, it really makes me not like those people.
No, literally, me too. Wait, who do you mean by those people? You can just mouth it to me.
The Hollywood producers. Yeah. Because they took George Lucas's idea. If you watch that one video I told you about earlier, George Lucas was gonna like still be involved in the sequel trilogy.
George Lucas. Hold on, I gotta defend my boy. George Lucas had an outline for the sequel trilogy. You know that, right? He gave it to them, and they were basically like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty good," and then threw it in the fucking trash.
No. At first, he was still gonna be involved in it, but then once they picked J.J. Abrams, he like pushed them away from all the concepts and everything. Cause he wasn't directing it, but he hired a guy that was gonna be the screenwriter, and they were like creating concept art. This is after he sold it to Disney.
Yeah, after the Disney acquisition.
Yeah, but then the problem was that they got J.J. Abrams, and the video I was talking about. Literally, once J.J. Abrams get tired, they start having meetings away from, because they were on Skywalker Ranch when they were when they were doing the sequel ideas.
Yeah, because I remember I saw a video, not that guy in particular. I saw some of that video, by the way, but I remember seeing videos saying that, obviously George Lucas apologized like us. They were saying that that he gave them an outline, and they were meeting with George Lucas. George Lucas was supposed to be involved in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But they just told him to fuck off.
Yeah, and then
and it almost makes me sad because it's like, cause I want to bring it back to the Disney thing. It almost makes me sad because it's like, and this is the reason why I say the prequels are better than the sequels. I mean, you can argue that. You can make some arguments that the sequels are better. I don't believe it to be true, but I guess if you can rationalize it enough, I think you can. But this is what I always say: even though the prequels weren't perfect, it was still George Lucas's creation. If that makes any sense, it's the same thing like with I don't know what I can equate that to today. I guess Dragon Ball Daima.
that's kind of hard because it's not.
Is that Akira Toriyama's creation or no?
Well, it's being heavily advertised as being Akira Toriyama's creation.
So it's not really. I don't know enough about it.
It's being there's been a lot of like work they've shown to say that Akira Toriyama was heavily involved in.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's a bad example, but basically he, the prequels was his creation. He was telling a story about the Skywalker family, right? And he obviously concluded the story with Episode 6, but in Episode 3 you see how Anakin became. How he became Darth Vader. Yeah. And I think a lot of people didn't have the foresight for that. But then when people talk about the sequel trilogy, like, oh yeah, it's great, I love it. Because there's people that we know that actually it's fucking good. But they think it's good because what Disney did, because they're a corporate
the machine.
They're a corporate machine, right? They took the sequel, or rather the original trilogy, which is universally loved by everybody, right? And they stuck it, they put it in a machine and just ran it through a fucking through a machine. They just
through a filter.
They filtered it to whatever they think the people would like. It's basically like having like one of your homies make a music playlist for you versus like Apple Music. No real shit. Fuck Apple Music. I got Spotify now, nigga. But no, that's real shit.
Yeah, because the problem, I think the main problem was when J.J. Abrams became involved, because literally some of the ideas that he was gonna have, dude. Darth Maul was gonna come back, and he was basically gonna be like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that. Yeah, because remember the red girl?
Yeah,
Like, do you remember
Darth
the red
Talon.
girl from? No, who?
Darth Talon.
God damn, this brother did his fucking research. Hold on a second.
She's the one that looks like all hot and stuff,
Yeah.
and she was
Yeah,
in
'cause
a,
she was in Star Wars Legacy.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Legacy comics with Kate Skywalker. And, yeah, he was going to bring her back, I believe, as Darth Maul's apprentice, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, she was supposed to make a comeback. Even fuck, I can't remember their name. The twins. The two twins that Han and Leia gave birth to. Anakin Solo. They were all gonna come. He
Yeah.
was gonna basically, because the EU, okay, there's like a hard pill to swallow, but the Legends universe was always gonna be scrapped.
Yeah.
It was always gonna be scrapped, but we were gonna get it back in a different form, obviously.
Yeah.
And how do I say this? Because but one thing I think that made the EU so great, or rather not the EU, the Legends universe, was it was all ran through George Lucas's filter. Everything was filtered by George Lucas, because even like the Star Wars Unleashed game, remember I gave you the comic?
Yeah.
That game, even though okay, the story itself wasn't the best, right? Because when I was a kid, I thought it was like I thought it was the Odyssey or
Yeah.
Don Quixote, or I thought it was equal to the Bible. God damn it! But no, yeah, the story is pretty like average, but it was filtered through George Lucas, and there was a lot of callbacks to the prequels and the original trilogy. But it felt like something that was made with love, not something that was made through a corporate machine like the Disney Star Wars movies. You know, because and then another issue with the directors, I honestly think they were just trying to outmatch or they're just trying to outdo George Lucas. Like, oh, we fixed Star Wars, we made Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it was mainly.
And they came from a place of pride too.
But I think it was the main person at fault was probably
Kathleen.
no,
Iger?
JJ Abrams, because he was the one that at least with the sequels,
Mm-hmm.
he was the one that insisted on no, we're not gonna have any callbacks to the prequels, even though who the fuck wouldn't bring shit that was in the prequels that wasn't shown in the original trilogy, obviously because they couldn't show it. Like who wouldn't? Obviously George Lucas wanted. That's why he brought back Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
Like the prequels though. At the very least, episode.
But he
3.
was being a fanboy, and he was saying like, "Oh no, like we need to do it this way. We need to take all of that out. We need to have nothing that connects to the prequels at all, because we're trying to make the sequels, and the sequels are obviously they're the sequels to the original trilogy. So it was very obvious that he had like a heavy like fanboy mentality. I think even he said that he watched remember the legal version of
4K 77.
yeah, he said that he has that. And so, and obviously, if you're gonna get an illegal version of the original theatrical release, then that means that you don't like the special editions. So that's how much of like an anti George Lucas Star Wars fan he is, probably to want to go that far, and again, not even include anything that was shown in the prequels.
Well, actually, there was. I'll tell you what it is.
What is it?
Do you remember? I think it was in episode 7 when they were about to go into the bar.
Yeah.
With the lady.
Yeah.
There's a flag. There's a Mandalorian flag. Nobody knows what that is. I just know it because.
Yeah, someone from Lucasfilm probably put it in the background, but everyone else.
They probably got fired too.
Yeah.
How fucking dare you put that on?
You put that prequel shit in there.
Don't ever fucking do that.
You only put prequel shit when it's filtered through what's his name, the Clone Wars guy, Dave Filoni. No, Dave Filoni. I mean, yeah, that actually is true. The only time they give you little prequel crumbs in Disney Star, because they do like milking the prequels now. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, now
like we're gonna go see Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see next month. We're gonna go see it.
No,
in
it's this
Soy.
month. Oh no. Yeah.
It's April 25th.
Yeah. Oh, this nigga remember the date and everything. No, shout out to my nigga because I got you into Star Wars, motherfucker.
I saw that. No, because I saw today that they announced like the little popcorn jar thing or whatever.
Seriously, we gotta get that.
It's gonna be
I fucking
Darth
hate
Vader.
popcorn, but we're gonna get it.
But we're gonna go see it. Like and because we love that they're milking the fucking prequels, but they're only gonna do it when they can like have it under the lens of like
Dave Filoni.
they or like any like the Clone Wars, the Ahsoka stuff.
Well, Dave Filoni's a Satanist, but I think we need to get back to the Disney thing. We gotta do timestamps on this. But yeah, I mean, okay, we're very passionate about Star Wars. That's what it is, and a lot of people are still passionate about Star Wars. And I think this whole fucking tangent we went on about J.J. Abrams and Dave Filoni and all that is just to show how much Disney ruined everything. And I
But
mean, becoming a Disney a reverse Disney adult is almost like
being a crusader.
being a crusade. This is the last crusade, right?
But it so obviously the beginning again. The beginning was The Last Jedi. Somehow in 2025 we went from us complaining about The Last Jedi to us complaining about Snow White, and obviously the path, the straight path was Disney. We don't like Disney. Okay, none of us like Disney. But also, what I was gonna say in the beginning is it's not really our fault that we don't like Disney, because they put their name on literally everything. Like, remember when we went to the toy section at Target or something, and we saw all the Star Wars toys and they sucked.
Yeah, and they all have Disney on it too.
Yeah, they all had the little Disney logo on it. I'm like, so now I feel like a homo for even like wanting to buy this slightly once. Now I don't even want to buy it. I'd rather just go on eBay and buy the old fucking.
Buy the old. Here, you don't know about this. Buy the old 30th anniversary edition of the toys. You don't know about that shit, kid.
I have I think I used to have this was before I even like the prequels or anything. I used to have the retractable lightsaber. No, the retractable lightsaber. Guess which one I had it of? Or which character's like
Mace Windu. I have that one too, nigga.
I don't know if I lost it or if I don't know, but
it went,
that one was goated.
It went to the way of the Force.
I don't know, went somewhere.
But no, yeah, I mean, Star Wars was just. I feel like Star Wars had there's awe about it before Disney bought it, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, "What the fuck was gonna happen to Star Wars? What's gonna happen to Star Wars?"
Even then, like with the continuity, they would because I read the Darth Plagueis book, and I was looking at the history of that book. They were gonna release it around the time of episode 3, I think, but then they had to delay it because they were gonna reveal shit in the Clone Wars TV show about Palpatine. So they waited. So they obviously they had shit lined up at the time. Now my thing is that I don't. You're right. The EU or the Legends continuity, it was expendable. I think they even considered it too, or at the time Lucasfilms, they thought the main continuity is G continuity. I think it was just the movies.
Yeah.
And then below that is
the Clone Wars,
and then below that is just the rest of the EU.
Yeah.
Because the Clone Wars was kind of grandfathered in as being slightly more important than the
Honestly,
rest of the EU.
I think the only reason why it got grandfathered in was just because they had put so much money into it. And
Yeah.
plus there was a big fan base for the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars did get really fucking good towards was it? I think the middle seasons.
Yeah, but so that's why I assume that the new trilogy that would have the original George Lucas version, it would have just went okay, none of that shit ever happened, or the stuff after. I assume all the heir to the Empire stuff, all that the legacy stuff was just ideas, and then he would have reused some of the ideas Darth Talon and all that stuff into the main continuity. But yeah, it did have a presence in just buying Star Wars toys at the time just felt different.
Bro, remember when they had the yellow Legos?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had yellow fucking Luke, Qui-Gon Jinn. I just feel like throwing that in there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I feel like Star Wars during that time just felt so much more what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know, it just felt real mystical being in the Star Wars.
But it all sucked.
Yeah.
There's some I'm gonna be nah, the EU sucked.
That's something of
And it's funny because now, yeah, I'm pretty sure the new books, there's not even a sense of continuity.
Bro, nobody likes the new books.
The books come out and they don't actually serve a purpose or
the
expand onto anything.
Sucked, allegedly.
And
even my sister knew about it. And she was like, "Yeah, I heard that book fucking sucked."
And then because all the EU books, it's funny because I like glazing on the EU, but I only read one book from front to end.
Yeah,
but that book did if you the first couple of pages, you look at it and it shows you the whole list of all the EU books and where you are and which era you're in and everything.
That was the time to be alive.
And then it was when I was reading uh Darth
Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis book, it was showing me a lot of shit from Darth Bane. So I was like, oh shit, you need to read the Darth Bane thing.
It was almost like comic. It was almost like a comic book thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know something crazy? Talking about the books and like the EU, because you said that Star Wars, according to George Lucas's original idea, was gonna get real esoteric.
Yeah.
I think we got bits and pieces of that throughout the EU,
Yeah.
like with Darth Nihilus, right?
Yeah.
Darth fucking Nihilus. I mean, what Nihilus stands for or no?
Nihilism.
Yeah, nihilism. Friedrich Nietzsche. Yeah, he's sewing right now. He's making the soy face.
Do all the other ones now. We got time.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Okay,
Hold on,
anyway,
hold on. This is a Disney Star Wars fan glazing fucking Disney Star Wars.
Is that dick good?
Yes, kid.
How good is that dick? Oh, how good is that dick, bitch?
And then no, this is what fans of wait, what was that black girl's name from Obi-Wan?
Didn't you see the show?
Reva?
I think so. I didn't see the show. Did you see the show?
I saw this show. I can't remember her name. Okay, so if you like any of the black characters from Star Wars, this is the sound you got to think of. You want to get into Marvel right now or no? I mean, because you're more invested into Marvel than I am.
I am a little bit, but not really. But what I really wanted to get into was this idea of, because I'm still thinking about this Snow White thing. I don't want to see the movie, obviously, but there's all these people who like on YouTube, like literally like grown men who have made it like their whole thing to like shit on Snow White or like the actor and shit for like the past couple years, and it's just like it just feels like creepy. Like, okay, I get it why she looks annoying. You don't want to see a movie that's starring that person. Obviously, I get it, but to make it like your whole entire identity instead of talking about like stuff you actually like that's
Yeah,
fucking.
geeks and gamers just talk shit about Disney Star Wars or Disney Marvel.
That's how we started, and then somehow these guys, it's like that.
They made a career off of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you become like a parody. You become like a parody of like how you.
A parody of yourself, or you know what? I'm gonna give you a better quote from The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, so all these guys they started out and they all had like good intentions, but then eventually, well, I think also the other problem is that the algorithm kind of like takes over their brain. So anytime like they see something, you know, like wow, we started recording videos and shit, and like we'll just be outside and we'll be like, hey, let's record. That's how they're like with like everything, every like news piece they see, they're like, Snow White's dead. Oh, it's woke. They just think anything that can like prove their point, even if it's against their point, they're or against their ideology. Like let's say there's like a good show like Penguin.
Penguin, yeah.
These guys are gonna talk about Penguin for like I've literally seen it. They talk about Penguin for like 10 minutes on their little podcast, and then they move on. And they go like, "Well, you know, Disney did another woke thing."
Oh, Daredevil fucking sucks.
Or they talk about how like
Kind of does.
or they talk about how what's something else. They obviously they ignore all the good stuff. Stuff is getting better. Like comics right now. So you want to talk about Marvel. Comics are getting better. Like it's to the point where every week, like what I consider being good is when I can go to the comic store and $20 worth of books every week. That's considered good right now. Obviously, the mess up part is that a lot of these books are either $4 or $5. But still, I'm going. This week I spent like $30 on new books. They're all good. But I have to say, all the good books were DC. Marvel, since we're going to the Marvel, like Marvel has this problem with the comics where they just start like, they just shit out anything. There's no I mean, technically it's probably haram.
It is haram. They got Captain Marvel. Whatever the fuck her name is. Miss Marvel.
Haram!
You think if a Muslim actually saw Miss Marvel, how would they react?
Haram!
That'd be the best way they'd fucking react.
Haram!
I mean, they'll probably say the same thing when they see Lil Durk.
Hey, stay tuned for that review.
What are you gonna put it on?
I was gonna make like a short version myself on my channel, and we upload like a long one on the main channel. The main channel being fucking Black Truth.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You want to do like a whole 40-minute review of that?
I think we can.
But you didn't want to do fucking Playboy Cardi? That's crazy.
Yeah,
It
I
could-
should have done Playboy Cardi because we could have gotten us in the algorithm.
Yeah, because I know that you wouldn't have liked it. I know you didn't like it, but you would have had like,
I would have been shitting
You-
on
yeah,
it.
you
Or
would've had,
should've
like,
worded
good
it like
bits.
that. You should have worded it like that.
well, that's what I kind of assume. Anything we do, we're just gonna like,
Either one of us is gonna love it, the
yeah,
other one's gonna hate it, or we're both gonna like mutually love it.
yeah. But anyways, going back to this thing, it's just like the whole, like, I don't like how these, like, the turn that these guys have made to becoming like parodies of themselves, because it kind of makes it seem like you're not allowed to criticize like kid shows because you sound like these guys once you criticize it. But they're coming at it at like they're not coming at Snow White from like a genuine like point. They already came at it, whether they like to admit it or not. They already came at it at like a negative point where they're like, oh, I didn't like what this girl said. I didn't like that they replaced all the dwarfs with CGI or whatever, blah blah. So I'm just gonna tear into this movie. But if because these people are gonna make these bad reviews of it, then people on the outside who like don't care about all this stuff. It's the same thing with the Little Mermaid one. Like there's always something to protect it from criticism, and so when regular people criticize it, they're always gonna be seen that like, oh, you're racist because you criticize that movie with the minority character. That's crazy too. That's another thing they do that the machine does. So instead of when they make something new, instead of like relying entirely on like it being a good product, they have to add like a diversity angle to make it like immune to criticism.
That's why I feel like it's almost like inevitable to become a reverse Disney adult.
Because what they do is they say, oh, you don't like this, it's because X minorities in that, or X group, or it's a movie meant for X group. Because remember, people used to shit on like all the live action Disney ones, right?
Yeah.
They would shit on Aladdin, the live action.
Oh yeah, Will Smith was in that.
Live action Aladdin.
Wait, do you think Jada Pinkett was cheating on him while he was filming?
No, it was probably before that.
Before, during, and after.
Probably. But people were shitting on. They were shitting on the Lion King one. They were shitting on the Beauty and the Beast one. These are the only ones I remember off my head. But it was negative. But then Disney shifted it to being, oh, we're gonna change it, or we're gonna change the material in some way. But then we're gonna add a minority character in it so that you guys can criticize it. But that's kind of the trap that these people fall into, is that if you criticize it in a certain way, to like regular people, when they see you getting mad over like a black Little Mermaid, they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?" And that's how you kind of lose the battle, by not making these like, how do I say, the like blatant criticisms like easy with like easy jabs. That's how like you kind of get seen as like a false critic. So and then the problem that it creates is that it makes it seem like you can't criticize children's media, which is dumb, because because the argument these people always use is that, oh, it's not meant for you. But yeah, but I'm like a kid's gonna watch it. So if like, let's say like it's like saying that like you're watching like Sissy Hypnosis or whatever, and you know what Sissy Hypnosis is?
No, what the fuck is that?
So it's like this like brainwashing type thing to make like men like feminine type shit. It's like watching that and being like, yeah, this stuff is bad for you, and then someone goes like, well, it's not meant for you. That's what it kind of feels like. It's like if something has a bad like message, even if it's like a kid show, you should call it out. But because these guys hide behind the race changes and all that, you can't call it out without having to have all these people being like, oh, like and the other thing they always do this thing where like they show a bunch of little girls watching the movie and they go like, this is what the movie was meant for, not you chuds. But yeah, no, that's just my rant. Like again, I do like with the Disney adults, the reverse ones. I do think that they need to kind of chill and they need to kind of just focus on the main things that they enjoy. They shouldn't just be like totally just attacking Disney all the time. They should focus on, even though again, like with Daredevil, you're kind of forced into
You're kind of
watching.
You're forced into watching because you love the original one so much.
So you kind of, even with like Indiana Jones, you didn't want to go. I'm funny. You didn't want to go see it, but I was still like, I'm still holding out on it that it might be good, but we should only focus on those things, and then we should try to focus on things that are actually good in entertainment.
What the fuck is good right now? Invincible's fucking great.
Well,
The Penguin was surprisingly good.
there's a lot of stuff that is good that like we're not just seeing, and also you got to realize that there is there is like entertainment that is like targeted towards us, but it's just like again
But it's all gay or black.
like what
Euphoria. It's kind of fucked up because it's about teenagers too.
So you're saying that there's like no like
I can't think of any.
there's no like male oriented entertainment.
No, there isn't. Tell me one.
What was something that came out recently?
Bruh.
Okay, to be fair, I don't have like the
Stop
whole
cap.
index. The Alto Knights.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
There is stuff coming out. That's why I can't complain about like, oh, there's no movies coming out when I'm damn near like there's like 3 movies I want to see out right now. Like I can't complain about that. But it's like when you look at it from a wrong like way.
Oh, Megalopolis was pretty good.
Well, I'm talking about like in general, just like male entertainment. There is stuff, and it's getting better now because they are kind of like leaving like certain genres. They are kind of like leaving it the fuck alone. It's not like back in the day when they're trying to like make like a female character added and everything. It's kind of going away. Just like how you said before, one of the earlier videos, it is going away. So you just kind of focus on that, but also at the same time, there is years and years and years of stuff that you haven't seen. There's
Me or
stuff.
just niggas
Everyone, unless you're like an old like fucking boomer who's seen like absolutely everything.
Berserk?
Have you finished Evangelion?
No, I have not.
That is the #1 most male-oriented show of all time. You have not finished it.
Have you seen
And
the
you're
Joe
like-
Rogan podcast?
Yeah, I saw the ones where Shane Gillis drinks Bud Light.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's my bit really at the end of the
We
day.
should have started off with that instead of going on the tangent about Star Wars right away.
Well,
I almost
there's
feel like re-recording this. I think we went on way too fucking long about Star Wars.
what else is there to talk about?
Well, no. I'm saying we should have started talking about the Disney adult thing, right? And then gone off on a tangent about Star Wars. But we started off the bat with talking about.
I mean, I was going through my piece, but it was just like I was
We should
going
have
through.
rehearsed before we did
I was
this.
going through it
You
slowly.
still want to release this?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
fine.
don't care. It's dead air.
All right, bet.
How much time? Look at the time.
I don't want to do that.
The circle, the black circle. Yeah, that one. How much
Oh,
time?
58 minutes.
Yeah, just stop it.
Right now?
Yeah, we do. I said my piece. Peace.
All right, bet. All praise due to Allah. Stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see you guys.